change is constant. It's something we hear often enough. In the superhero universe, it's more than just a theme or a motto. It's a way of life. You'll know this if you visited my channel, the TV Regent, and watched my superhero transformations playlist. Today's video is a continuation of this tradition of change. I present the top 10 X-Men transformations in movies. Given that the X-Men and the characters who populate the world are in a constant state of evolution, reinvention, and, well, mutation, it's a subject I could hardly pass up. So fasten your seatbelts as we go through the kaleidoscope of colourful characters, stopping at perhaps the most important moments in their lives.
Ready.
A few more hours.
And he will respond to my commands.
Absolutely.
Pipe down for our first entry, who is none other than Wade Wilson, aka Weapon 11 in 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine. You might remember Wilson from that little blockbuster called Deadpool.
Whoops, you weren't meant to see that.
Which hit theaters 7 years after Origins and is now among the top 3 highest grossing R-rated movies of all time. Well, our character from the 2009 movie just so happens to be that same foul-mouthed, red spandex-wearing mutant from 2016's Deadpool. In Origins, we first meet Wilson as a member of a mutant gang that includes Wolverine. Wilson's famous for 2 things: his sword skills and his inability to keep quiet, even for just a second. When he reappears as Weapon 11, the film's antagonist, all traces of his old self are gone. His mouth's been sewn shut for one. Numerous experiments have turned him into an overpowered Frankenstein's monster. Many fans were unhappy with the character's projection in the film, calling it a departure from the source material. But as transformations go, this is one as freaky as they get. And let's not forget, it did get that super entertaining Deadpool juggernaut rolling after all. At number 9, we have mutant-hating politician Robert Kelly's transformation into a mutant in 2000's X-Men. This is the movie that ushered in the modern superhero era in Hollywood. 20-odd years later, Kelly, as one of the film's villains, is a character who perhaps feels more familiar now than he did then. Ultra-conservative, nationalistic, and reactionary, he's the sort of person who only accepts those of his kind, and the others can just be damned. Fun fact here, Bruce Davison, the actor who played Kelly, has claimed that the character was a big hit with a certain American political party of that time. In the movie, Kelly has a one-point agenda: to bring in a law that forces mutants to reveal their identities and abilities to a public that fears and distrusts them. So when Magneto gets his hands on the Senator and turns him into the very creature he abhors, it seems like just desserts. What's more, the artificial mutation doesn't go too well for Kelly. As they say, be careful what you wish for.
No.
Up next is Hank McCoy's transformation into Beast. From a mutant-hating human, we have now a mutant who hates his mutation. Released in 2011, X-Men First Class is the first look that took us back to the days when the X-Men were just starting off on their heroic journeys. We know now Beast to be a founding member of the X-Men and one of the most influential mutants. But in this movie, we meet him as a young man in conflict with himself. McCoy embraces the powers his identity has blessed him with, but, perhaps quite typically for a young man, he hates his physical form, especially his inhumanly long limbs. Desperate to appear more normal, he invents a serum to subdue his physical mutation, but it has the opposite effect, making his appearance more beast-like while also enhancing his abilities. Man-to-beast transformations in movies are tricky and often come across as comical, even with the best CGI in the business. First Class, however, pulls off a class act, making the birth of Beast a visually arresting, impactful, and dramatic moment.
Even I gotta admit, you look pretty badass. I think I got a new name for you. Beast.
Blinding us all at number 7 is Sunspot in 2020's The New Mutants. Reportedly the last movie in the X-Men franchise, The New Mutants comes with a fresh cast. Among them is Roberto da Costa, who some might remember from 2014's X-Men Days of Future Past, where he appeared as his older self. Costa's mutant powers are fueled by solar energy. As the aptly named Sunspot, he has the ability to absorb and channel solar power. In the new movie, Costa's a young man, and like most mutants in their youth, he's afraid of his powers and his inability to control them. What's more, a tragedy in his past that was caused by his mutation has left him scarred for life. So when Costa's mutation is suddenly activated, turning him into a man on fire, it's a shocking sight for the audience. That this transformation comes bang in the middle of a romantic date in the pool and has some chilling horror movie inspired moments makes it quite memorable.
I'm sorry, who are you?
As mutants go, our next contender's the funnest of them all. Smart, strong, fierce, badass and blue-skinned, she's the one and only Mystique, born Raven Darkholme. Mystique's shape-shifting abilities make her the perfect secret agent and spy. Not only can she take on the appearance of any person she wishes to, she can perfectly mimic their voice, accent, language, and even their fingerprints, which makes it impossible to tell that she's an imposter. And she uses this ability to devastating effect time and time again. But that's just one side of her personality. Mystique is incredibly multifaceted. She's strong in a fight, not afraid to get her hands dirty or go where no one dares to go. She's also quite full of mischief as she impersonates inanimate objects and her friends too. At the same time, her ever-shifting allegiances make her unpredictable and downright dangerous. She's done all manner of evil deeds, yet she never fails to arouse your sympathy. That makes her one of the most compelling X-Men characters. The mystique surrounding her real age and true form in the comics only strengthens this aura of mystery.
I said the real Raven. Perfection.
At the halfway mark now, we have the creator of the mutant race himself, En-Sabah-Nur. Revered as a god and feared for his superhuman abilities at the same time, En-Sabah-Nur is a powerful entity to begin with. But in the 2016 movie X-Men Apocalypse, he turns into an even more terrifying being. Buried deep in the pyramids of ancient Egypt, he's reborn as Apocalypse, who, as the name suggests, is hell-bent on destroying the universe and bringing a great calamity upon all its inhabitants, both human and mutant. A rebellion by the very people who worship him keeps him trapped underground, and it's centuries before he rises from his desert tomb. When he does emerge though, the rumblings he causes are on an entirely different level, even for the X-Men, who fought and defeated great enemies in their time and must now face off against him. A difficult task given that Apocalypse is both destructive and indestructible, more god than mutant.
Rise, my angel.
Close on the heels of En-Sabah-Nur, we have his follower Angel at number 4. When it comes to grand displays of power, no one can beat Apocalypse, the ancient Egyptian god and his first among mutants. In X-Men Apocalypse, the arch-villain turns a wounded and dejected Warren Worthington into an angel of death, quite literally. A brutal fight has left Worthington, aka Angel, with broken wings beyond repair, and worse, a broken spirit. The once powerful mutant and member of the X-Men now spends his days drinking. With his power of creation, Apocalypse replaces Angel's feathered wings with metal blades, giving him a new lease of life. Not only does Angel regain his ability to fly, he's now even more powerful as he's able to turn his blades into weapons. His overall mutant powers are also considerably enhanced, and with this little favour, Apocalypse earns himself a new follower, one who goes on to become one of his 4 horsemen. The transformation that makes the third spot teaches us that great power comes at a price. We're talking about Wade Wilson's metamorphosis into Deadpool. As remarkable as Wilson's turn as Weapon 11 in X-Men Origins is, it's no match for his transition in 2016's Deadpool. Here, Wilson's dying of cancer, and the only way he can be saved is by submitting himself to a very shady experiment with an unclear agenda. After going through with the process, Wilson not only beats cancer, but ends up being immortal. But before he can rejoice, he realizes that the experiment has left him horribly disfigured. The rest of the movie, as perhaps you already know, is all about Wilson tracking down the man who saved his life and turned him into an unlikely superhero, but also in the process turned him into an ugly mess. It's astounding that one of the most successful superhero movies of all time rests on such a simple plot. It just goes to show that sharp humor, biting sarcasm, and an inspiring turn by a smart-mouthed leading man can lift a movie to great heights.
Oh, hello. I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with Wolverine.
Now, this video wouldn't be complete without our next contender, who is Jean Grey in her Dark Phoenix avatar. The superheroine is one of the most powerful beings in the X-Men universe. She also has one of the most compelling storylines in the comics' long history. So beloved she is to the fans that Hollywood's bumbling attempts at retelling her story remains a sensitive subject within the community. X-Men Dark Phoenix hit theaters in 2019. It was the second film to bring the Dark Phoenix saga to the big screen after the much maligned X-Men The Last Stand in 2006. What the newer movie does remarkably well is show Jean Grey's transformation into the immensely powerful Dark Phoenix. In the final fight, Grey lets herself succumb to the dark force within her, using its full powers to save her friends from the enemy. Unlike her old self, who feared this corrupting power and lost herself to it, she's now in full control of it. The fiery Phoenix imagery makes this one of the most memorable scenes in the entire movie. And that brings us to number 1. No points for guessing who it is. It is, of course, Wolverine. The mutant with the retractable claws is one of the most important characters in the X-Men universe and one of its most loved as well. Brilliantly portrayed by the Australian actor Hugh Jackman, he's risen to superstardom amongst fans. In the 2009 Origins movie, the brooding Wolverine participates in the Weapon X program and the procedure that will infuse his skeleton and claws with adamantium, an indestructible metal. It's a brutally painful procedure. The adamantium is bonded with the test subject's skeleton while he's still in a state of consciousness. What's more, there's no guarantee that he's going to survive it. But luckily for us, he does. He also emerges stronger and more powerful. With his new adamantium skeleton, Wolverine is now unbeatable in a fight. And with his original power of regeneration, he is an unstoppable force. As they say, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And Wolverine is the embodiment of that sentiment. And that's it for today. What's your favourite transformation in the X-Men movies? Write in the comments below. Also, click the card on your top right to check out my superhero transformations playlist. If you enjoyed the video, press the like button and also subscribe to my channel, where you'll find a steady stream of top 10s and superhero movie content. I'll see you next time on the TV Regent.